Hi friends! Today we are going to be learning how to make spooky holiday frames just like this, and I put a little picture in the middle. So make sure you register to get your craft kit, and all you're going to need for this is some scissors and some tape. So keep watching how to make our spooky holiday frame. When you go to get started, the first thing you're going to want to do is paint the popsicle sticks you're given. So I painted these the other day, and I just painted one side black. You don't really need to paint the opposite, but you're going to want to make sure you do this at least a few hours before, the day before if possible, so it has plenty of time to dry, and then you don't get black paint all over yourself when you're making your frame. So I'm going to put these to the side, and I want to start off by making my spider. So what I'm going to do is take some yarn, and before you start wrapping your yarn to make your little spider body, you just want to cut 2 smaller pieces off of it, and that's going to help us tie it after. So I'm going to start with one end, and depending on how small your fingers are, my fingers are pretty big, so I'm just going to wrap around 3 fingers. If you have smaller fingers, you might want to wrap around 4. And I'm just holding it down with one finger, and I'm just going to wrap my yarn around these 3, and it's got a little tangled up on me, so I'm just trying to untangle while I'm wrapping. And let's see, hopefully I can get this untangled. There we go. All right. And I kind of lost track of how much I wrapped, but you want a decent size. So, I mean, this is probably 30 plus times I wrapped around, but you want a decent thickness, and I probably have, this is about 1 inch wide and several times deep. And I'm just gonna cut that. And then you want to carefully slide it off your fingers, but make sure you don't let it go loose. So I'm sliding it off, and I'm going to immediately press it closed just like this. And I'm going to take one of my pieces and carefully wrap it around. And once it's wrapped, I can put it down to make it stable. And I'm going to tie it on one side. I'm going to knot it just so it's nice and tight. Move this stuff to the side. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it and do the same thing on this side. So just so it's nice and secure. And I tied it about halfway through. I want to make sure it's pretty even on either side. So I mean, you don't want it to be up too high, because then your spider will have a really small head or a small body. And I mean, if that's the look you're going for, cool. But if not, try to make it fairly even. Okay, all right, so I have this tied. Now I'm going to take my pipe cleaners, and you have 2 of them. We're trying to match them fairly close to the yarn we're giving you. And then I'm going to cut these in half. So I'm going to fold it in half just so I know where to cut. Like so. And then what you're going to do with these is wrap them around right where you had just tied. So I'm going to do about, make sure it's even. And you want to wrap around like this. And then just fold it over. So you're kind of squeezing your spider with your not popsicle sticks, pipe cleaners. And then I'm just squishing it flat. And now I have 4 legs for each side for my spider, like so. And then once you've done that, you're going to take your scissors and you're gonna move through your yarn. So see how it's closed, and I'm gonna cut it and make sure I get all my pieces. So you might have to go on a second time or even a third time if you realize you forgot a few. And then there we go. And I'm gonna do this side. I'm gonna try to get through all of my little loops. But if I don't on the first try, I can always go back in. Okay, I think I got all of them. All right, and I'm gonna try to just fluff this up, make it look pretty cool. You can always trim your edges to make it a little more circular shaped. So once I fluff it up some and make it more circle shaped, you know, I think I'm gonna have this side be the head. So I'm just gonna trim these a little. And then just like that, put those to the side. And I'm gonna put some googly eyes on my spider while I'm at it. And these ones you'll be given are the ones that have the paper. They're sticky. So you just wanna carefully find the edge and peel it off. So then we don't have to worry about gluing these down, and just put it on your spider's head. I'm just gonna peel this one as well. This can be a little tricky. Sometimes you just have to work at it to find that edge. And there we go. I'm gonna push those in, and then there's my little spider friend. Cute. All right. Okay, now that our spider's done, we're gonna put our little friend to the side. We need to put our frame together. So I have my 4 popsicle sticks, and I just wanna figure out how I want these placed. So I think I'm gonna go like this and make them off-centered. You can put them however you like. I just kind of like the little extra detail with having them all off-centered like that. And now I'm gonna take my glue dots and peel one side off and glue them. So I'm just gonna put my glue dot on the back, press it down, peel it off, and then, you know, actually it's probably gonna be easier to put it together like this. You can see where your glue dot is. Perfect. Okay. All right, and I'm gonna finish these real quick. Let me put this one down right there. Press it down. There we go. Ooh. The cool thing about these is they're very sticky, so you don't have to worry about them falling apart, but you can still move them a little bit if you need to. If you don't like the way it was positioned, you can always move your popsicle sticks around some and not have to worry about it being stuck in that position if you were using hot glue. I'm gonna place this one, and then my last one. Where's my glue dot? Here it is. And I'm just gonna put it down and stick it. All right, there we go. I have the base for my frame. Just gonna press these down, make sure they're nice and secure. And now for one of my favorite parts, I'm gonna take our white yarn and then make our little spider web looking design. So what you want to do is start off by leaving probably about 2 to 3 inches hanging. So this way, once we're done, once I've wrapped it all the way around, I'm going to end up over here again, and then I can tie it off. So you just want to kind of keep your finger here, and then I'm just going to wrap it around. I think I'm going to try to make sure I wrap around each corner so they're nice and tight. You know, you can go backwards and forwards. You can always go back if you want, if you realized you didn't add enough in one spot. So I'm just doing this, you know, however you like it. There's no right or wrong for how this part's going to look. If you realized, you know, once you've tied it off and you have some yarn left over, you can always go back in with a second piece and fill in some of your space. I actually think I'm gonna do this and have it come over this way some. All right, and I think that looks pretty cool. So I'm going to cut my string, and then I have my two ends. I'm going to tie these together. Make sure you double knot it so it's nice and secure. I'm actually going to triple knot it just because I have some extra space, so it'll be extra tight. And then I'm going to cut my excess. And voila, we have our frame. But we are missing one little friend, our spider. So this is where you can decide if you want your spider on this side, if you want it down here, over here. I think I'm gonna put my little spider friend right in this corner. So I'm gonna take my final glue dot and put it on top of here. If you do have a hot glue gun at home, you can always hot glue your spider down, but the glue dot is going to work just as well. And I want to make sure I try to glue it right in the middle where all the pipe cleaners are, so it'll be pretty secure. And then once this part is done and your spider is finally placed, you can always decide if you want to make any other little snips to your spider. So I'm going to snip off a little bit at the end over here. Oh wait, there we go. That's better. Oh, there we go. Oh goodness, this yarn is being very tricky with me. There we go, much better. And you can always decide if you want to make your legs a little shorter. So I actually think mine look okay, but you know, for some reason, if one side was longer than the other, you could always make some cuts there. And voila, our spider frame, our little spooky Halloween frame is done, but you do need something to fill it. If you have a fun Halloween picture from a year before, you can always put that in. I just have this cute little saying I printed out, this little boo. Uh-oh, I think I made it a little too big. There we go. I think that'll fit. Probably should have been a little smaller, but that's okay. I'm just gonna cut this and let's see. So obviously you'll have to make some trimming additions. Let me do that real quick. And then all you need to do is tape it in. That. I'm just gonna flip it over and use some Scotch tape. I mean, if you wanted it to be in there forever, you could always glue it down. But I kind of like the idea of being able to switch it out whenever I want. So I'm just gonna tape the sides. And there we go, I have Boo. And the cool thing about this is if you do have a nail in your wall, you can always hang it from some of this yarn you use to wrap around your frame. But there we go, that's it. There is our spooky Halloween spider frame. I hope you have as much fun as we did. Bye.